everybody, and welcome to a slightly different version of Badger Banter yet again. Like we said previously, we're trying kind of a couple of new formats, a couple of different ideas to see what you guys on Patreon think, because
we could do this all day.
Which we have been doing.
No, like we legitimately would want to try as much different kind of bits of content out, see what you guys like, what you respond well to, and then we will keep doing that for you people.
Yeah, essentially we want to give you guys what you want.
What do you mean, you people? Sorry, I just had to say it after I said we can keep doing it for you people.
So, the moral of the story is, this time we're taking an introspective look back at some Celtic Badger Media shorts. We're just going to talk about our perspectives on the shorts, both how they came to be, a little bit about production, and pretty much what they've done since.
Yeah, where they've gone, where they've been seen, where you can see them now, if they're available, like where, you know. So that's, we're going to kind of go right back at the very beginning to not necessarily the first short we ever did together, but definitely the first short where it really became apparent what we were becoming.
Yeah, I think so. So the short we're going to talk about today is I.R.I.S. So for those who haven't seen I.R.I.S, it is available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Celtic Badger Media. And if we're going to be talking a lot about it, it's probably spoilers.
So if you haven't seen it, what you do is you pause this video, right? Pop over to YouTube, watch it.
Open another tab. Yeah, don't close this one.
Yeah, that'd be stupid. Just press the plus button over to another tab and then go check out I.R.I.S and pop back here. And you can hear us continue to discuss, because we will definitely reveal stuff about ours. There's no way we can really get into this in depth without.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of like a very in depth behind the scenes. We're probably going to be talking for the next kind of half hour ish.
Yeah.
About everything to do with the short.
Like 6 or 8 minutes long.
Yeah, it was a lot longer.
It was. We'll get to that.
So we're gonna dive right off. I just wanted to open by saying, I.R.I.S was the first, and to this day the only time we've co-directed.
That's true. It's something that I definitely wouldn't mind doing again, because it was not like, I was a little hesitant when you first said it to me. I'd never co-directed at that point. I didn't know what roles we would fulfill. Yeah. Beyond a certain point and things like that. I was genuinely a little hesitant. It was also like the second time we worked together, so it wasn't like we'd been working together for like 2 years and blah, blah, blah. It was like kind of jumping right in at the deep end, so I was a little worried. But then it was, as I say, it was crazy because it worked out very, very well. Yeah.
So I guess going way back to the start of I.R.I.S, I have always wanted to do a 48-hour film competition.
Yeah.
Like, ever since I heard of the original concept of, like, you have 48 hours to come up with a concept, shoot it, edit it, and submit it in 48 hours, I always wanted to have that challenge. So there was a couple previous before we had entered for
and
that.
You had done, just to kind of clarify as well, you had done the My Road Reel that year as well.
Yes.
So you had started, you know, you'd done a competition, got a taste for it, it wasn't necessarily get it done in this time frame, blah blah blah. Yeah. But I guess once you'd done that, it was like, then could I do the same thing in 48
hours? Yeah, and that was it. And it was always that curiosity of like, could I pull it off? And the thing that was holding me back, being honest, was I didn't feel that I had worked with the right people yet that I could bring on as a team.
Or even if you work with really good people, that maybe they wouldn't be able to get it done in that kind of a turnaround.
Yeah, and like a lot of people had like families and time commitments, or they worked weekends, and there was just a lot of things that it was like, I don't think I'll be able to get everyone here for 48 hours to work start to finish to get it done. Yeah. And that was when I started doing filmmaking, and then over the first kind of 2 years or so, I started to meet people like Fiak and Lisa, and like obviously Nikki had helped out lots, and then I met you and Aaron and through working on the original Don'ts. Yeah. And it was around then that I was like, fuck, it was like,
I think I've got
these guys are the guys. There's like one, I know we can hang out for 48 hours and not kill each other.
Very important. Although Brian did go absolutely mental.
Brian went fucking batshit crazy.
If there's videos of that anywhere, they need to be unearthed because him just in the kitchen with his like a towel or his t-shirt wrapped around his head, singing sea shanties or something. Like, it was just like...
Why does Brian always default to sea shanties?
He loves these sea shanties. He's a bit of a pirate, like... He's got a bit of pirate blood in him.
He does.
Yeah, but I get what you mean. We knew we weren't going to come out of it not friends.
Yeah, exactly. So, I basically pitched it to the guys. I kind of put everyone in a group chat, and it was like, I'm thinking about doing this. These are the dates. Can you be free that weekend?
I remember when you messaged me that, immediately I like cemented my time with Kathy and stuff. I'm like, I need that weekend.
Yeah.
100% free.
Nice.
Gotta do it.
I know Aaron and Brian was pretty flexible anyway because he didn't have a lot on.
Yeah, I suppose he wasn't acting much at that point.
Yeah,
because
because he the Dunce was the first thing
he ever acted.
He'd worked on. So
this was actually really outside the Dunce, which was his concept to begin with. This was like the first time he would be acting in something that he wasn't. Would say
that's mad.
Yeah, when you think of how he won a best character, best actor.
He got a mention for best.
That's it. Honorable mention for
best lead actor.
Yeah, for a dude who was like second short.
It's crazy. So we kind of put that crew together, and I had asked you to come on board as like a writer, and we were going to direct it together.
Yeah, and as I said, that was at first I was like, what you were saying about like we didn't want to end the weekend like killing each other. I was like, because I remember seeing Jen Soska and Sylvia Soska talking about it. They were like, "Oh, you got to be like so like 100% blah like to co-direct." And as I say, we had gelled very well on this Redon'ts and in general outside of that. But there was still a part of me that was like, "Oh, I hope this doesn't like ruin that. I hope this doesn't be like that we're like tripping over each other and like." But it's crazy because I think that's where we cemented a little bit of the symbiosis.
Yeah,
and the
I think so. I think I was far more confident because I knew your directing style because obviously you were directing the Don'ts. I didn't realize at the time, but you hadn't seen me direct anything.
No, exactly.
So you had no idea what my directing style was, whereas I knew you're a very character-driven director and I'm a very visual-driven.
Yeah.
Like a very physical movement type of director.
Yeah.
So...
Which is what it suits you as a director of photography as well, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be setting up, people for marks, people for positioning, for focus. So in a lot of ways, it worked that in my mind, I was like, well, I don't need to think about anything other than characters and narrative, effectively. And this is where I guess it gets a little bit interesting. But when we were to kind of give a bit of insight here. The way the 48-hour film competition works is that you do not find out until 7 p.m. on the day that it starts, isn't it?
Yeah. 7 p.m. Friday, and then it runs until 7 p.m. Sunday, and that's when you have to have it handed up.
You do not find out your genre, your theme, your... in this one, there was a character name, there was a prop, there was... occupation.
And a line of dialogue.
And I remember driving up, and I was coming up to write as well, and I remember driving up in the car and being very like, my immediate thing was I need to build a scenario that could be made out of all of those, like if it was an action, if it was a drama. We
knew the location as well. We had a location.
Yeah, Barry had secured this awesome apartment.
Shout out to John Quinlan.
John Quinlan, you legend. That was it was a beautiful location. But Barry, so I knew, okay, it's going to be an apartment. I remember though, it's funny because I packed the gun. I said to you, well, I need to bring the gun. You were like, I don't think so. And I was like, I'm going to bring it just in case. Because, you never know when you'll need a fake gun. It was in the audio case anyway, because the audio case belonged to Aaron.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You say that like Aaron just puts
just carries
random guns in places.
Yeah.
Just in case.
It's like, that's a fake gun, right, Aaron? Yes, he's actually a secret agent. Which we'll get to. But with I.R.I.S, driving up, I knew, I was like, I gotta formulate a couple of ideas that could be across mediums.
That we could kind of adapt depending on what was given to us.
So interestingly, my first thought was, I straight away was like, okay, so if it's a guy who turns up at somebody's door, you can go anywhere from that.
Yeah.
Because that can be a drama where he's coming to say, oh, I was in the army with Mike and he passed away, and or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can have it be a comedy. You can have it be a horror where he comes in and maybe it's a case of a stolen identity, or
Yeah.
So I knew the principal setup of somebody arriving at your door could be translated across all different types of. What I didn't realize at this point was that it wasn't specifically genre.
Yeah.
That would have been great to know, but it was none of us did until
I got the phone call.
Until we got the phone call.
And so the stuff that we had to fit into I.R.I.S was we had to get a line of dialogue that was what was it?
Shit, what was the one in I.R.I.S?
Your mother never approved of your hobbies.
I was worked in so well.
The prop was an apple. The occupation was an optician,
which we built a lot of the comedy
character
around.
name was either Andrew or Andrea Coffee.
Yeah.
And the very last thing was the genre, which, like we said, we thought would be the standard horror drama, comedy, that sort of stuff. They gave us a buddy film.
So when I heard that, I panicked at first because my first thought was, shit, this thing I built of a guy turning up at a door, and that being the principal setup. How does that translate into a buddy film? Because in my head, a buddy film was like Lethal Weapon. So initially, I'd written this 7-page, 8-page, kind of early first draft, and I brought it into you guys before we got that notification.
No, we didn't have anything written down, I don't think.
I was sure we did, because then that was when I panicked, and that was when you said, it's fine.
Yeah, no, you hadn't it written down. You had gone through everyone. It was like, this is the basic idea, and this is how we can adapt it if it's this.
Okay,
this is how we can adapt it if it's this. So you had this kind of almost a set idea of depending on the genre, we should be fine. Yeah. And then I came in and I was like, so our genre is a buddy film, and I just saw your face go, oh, shit.
I actually remember as well, you read through everything. You're an evil bastard.
And left.
You read through everything. You went our prop is an apple, our line of dialogue, and the whole way along I'm like, okay, can work that in. That's fine. Andrea Coffee, alright, yeah, okay. And then it was and our thing is a buddy film, and I'm just like, what? What?
I remember the color drain from your face. You were like, I don't think we can make this work. And I was like, but we could do it because the comedy setup you had was he comes in, he kind of tricks her into getting in.
He tricks her into getting in, and it was always this idea that he would know Mike.
Yeah.
And that was the initial setup. Always was that whether it was a horror or a comedy or a drama or whatever, him and Mike had a connection.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize at that point was that's kind of the definition of buddy. Especially if you play off it. And it was you that said then, well, if he comes in then and, he knows Mike and, they have a bit of playful banter, etc. And I'm like, I'm going back into the writing room.
Yeah. We were literally eating pizza at that stage. We were just kind of
You were eating the don'ts, watching the don'ts.
We watched the original don'ts.
Yeah, with the crew.
And Paddy was like, I'll be back. And he just left and went writing. And came back what was it? I don't even think it was a full hour.
For 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then he was like, it's a really rough draft. It's I just want you to have a read, just see what you think. And we went in and we read it, and everyone who sat down at the computer and read it just burst out laughing.
Yeah, at certain points there was little beats that I was really happy that certain beats hit the mark, even in a script form. Looking at it now, a lot of stuff got cut, a lot of stuff got added, ad-libbed. But there was a couple of key beats that were important that I was very happy.
Yeah, so I really, I personally loved the setup where it's almost I don't trust this guy.
It's something funny. Brian has said in the past, I don't know how we got nod for best use of prop when we barely use the apple. I'm like, it's not about, it's how you use it.
Yeah.
And right from the outset, it's him.
We won best prop.
We won best prop
and best use of character, which was the optician.
But it's the fact that he's just this obnoxious guy, as he's talking to her, what's the first thing you're always told? Don't chew your food talking to people.
Yeah.
As she opens the door, he's like, And coffee.
But if you watch it carefully, she opens the door and then he bites it. It's like not like he was chewing it outside the door. He
just like he sees she's opened the door and she's there, so he bites and he's just talking with his mouth full, just like it's like this immediate sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
It's just this immediate like I don't care.
Yeah.
And so like immediately she's like, who the fuck is this?
We talked about like why would she let him in?
That was a fun one. The picture came from that.
We took that picture that night because that picture was taken in my house in Athlone, and it was my friend's birthday recently, so she had the banners, and then we were like, oh, if we just get like party hats and the balloons, they're already there. It's like it's a photo of me and Mike at this house party or whatever.
We get to have a couple of people's cameo in the shot.
We had Mike Joyce in the cameo in the shot and everything.
It was. Plus, I love how ridiculous that setup is as well. Yeah. Just the idea that he's like, oh, you don't trust me? Well, here's a picture of me and your husband at a house party. And she's like, all right, come on in. like, people have said to me in the past, oh, that's ridiculous. You wouldn't let somebody... I'm like, it's called comedy. Like, the idea is that it's just ridiculous enough that it could happen. You know, that kind of stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Like, I love that photo, and I love the fact that yet again we were constrained on time. So rather than print the photo and everything, we just thought it's better. He just like,
shows
has
it on his phone
and just holds it up.
I was like, hang on a second. I really like that.
What impressed me a lot was I went in, I wrote the draft. It came out. Fiach, I remember reacting like really like Fiach was like, "Did you write like this now?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He was like you didn't have anything written like before, and I was like, no. He was like, fucking hell, man. Like he was
he was properly
really taken back, and I was like, that was a really big confidence boost at that moment. Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe we can't do this.
Yeah, and I think like we had always planned it so that I don't know what happened to my voice there. We had always planned it so that like Friday would be like writing, refining, getting props. Organizing whatever we needed to. Because,
like, as soon as we came up with the idea of her being an optician, like, as soon as it was like, okay, she's an optician, we were like, shit, we got to do a fucking business card.
Yeah, we made our own business card. We stuck it on the back of a Domino's because we had pizza. So we had like the little Domino's scratch cards thing. Yeah. So we printed it and we stuck it on the back of that to make it look like a more legit business card.
That was brilliant.
Because. It was.
Did we do rehearsals that night?
No.
Did we not?
We didn't. We literally we were like, okay, we should probably get to bed because we start early.
Yeah.
And it was like, this may be the only chance we get to sleep.
Yeah.
Because we knew we couldn't get into the apartment until 8 the following morning.
Yeah. And then we'd get in and get set up, do a bit of production design, move stuff around.
We shot for 6 hours.
What did we shoot from, like 11?
We were shooting from about 11 till I think about 6.
Yeah, we definitely wrapped about... Because we got back to yours and started editing...
Pretty much straight away.
Pretty much immediately after.
Yeah.
Like the actual shooting, like Friday, the Friday we had gotten the basic script down, went to bed, and then...
Basic script, nothing. It was fucking... pretty locked on, there was only a couple of tiny bits we changed on the day.
Yeah, and obviously when we did come to the edit phase and it was trimming.
There's probably a much longer version of I.R.I.S we could do.
There probably is, actually.
There was a lot of jokes we cut out.
There was some.
I know.
There were some good ones.
For the competition, we had to cut a lot out, and then we got to do the director's cut.
But even still, that was 8.5 minutes. But our first cut, which we're jumping ahead of ourselves, we're going to get to the post production side. Sorry. But the original cut was like 12 minutes, so there is probably a lot of stuff that we've cut out that we could put back in. But after the production side of things, that was when going to production, I was definitely a little nervous because, as I say, I had never seen you direct.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you had said to me. Look, I'll handle the camera and technical and blocking stuff. Mm-hmm. You handle characters and motivation and narrative and stuff. So I was cool with that, but I was like, there was a part of me that was like, shit, what if we trip over each other? Like, what if it's not? As I say, I think this was the day where it became apparent about the synchronicity of it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Because literally we arrived at 8, we started getting set up and we were maybe shooting by 11, half 10, 11. And by the time we started rolling, literally our first 2 takes, I was like, we so got this. I'm not in any way worried, doubtful, anything. Did we shoot majoritively in sequence? Or all in sequence?
We shot up to a certain point multiple times, like from multiple different angles.
Yes, we did, yeah. Basically, everything up until Fake's arrival.
Yeah, we shot that multiple times from multiple angles. Then we did all the stuff when Fake came in from...
We based a lot of it off equipment choice, wasn't it? It was kind of like, if we're going to go on the monopod, if we're going to go on this, we need a reason to... Yeah.
Exactly. And then we did a lot of shooting on a wide, letting everyone kind of settle into position.
Because there was... Go watch the bloopers as well if you haven't. The BTS, like, is it the blooper? Is there a blooper you love for it?
Oh, yeah.
Gold. Like, of all the shorts I've worked on, no short, in my opinion, even Coppa, even like other comedic ones that I've worked on, nothing has had the bloopers like I.R.I.S. Like, that was... There was so much laughter on that set.
Yeah.
Because, like, as I say, there was like a lot of jokes that were locked in, a lot of setups that were locked in, but it was a mixture of things. It was ad-lib, it was seeing some of those things actually happen as opposed to just be written on a page. Alright, that's an example. Another great example is just Feek, like written on a page, Feek being aiming at us. Yeah. Like, was funny, but seeing Feek and her being like, guys, and then that cut to the wide, and he's just aiming miles off. And then her like reaching out to aim the gun. All of that was just so hilarious. And then anytime anyone ad-libbed, we all broke the first time, so we'd have to set up and go again. Yeah. Because we just wouldn't be expecting some of those fucking ad-libs that came out. I know I ruined a lot of takes by laughing. You can see that in the behind the scenes as well. Like, there's so many moments. I don't think I've spent as long laughing continuously as I did when we were shooting that. Because it was non-stop hilarity. Brian was a major culprit on the ad-libbing. That's kind of Brian's MO, like, from the don'ts, from Coppa, from everything, you know. But it worked so well, like. It's so good. Like, Brian's ad-lib of "You're pretty funny for a woman" is... Nobody expected that. And when imagine how topical that is now. I know. It was so funny. And my favourite thing was Lisa's initial actual reaction was like, like, she was genuinely like, I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, and to elicit that reaction from her was brilliant. It was really good. I loved how condescending Feek was. Yeah, you got to watch your little Netflix. That wasn't in the script, was it? It was written like go next door and watch TV. But the way he phrased it, like, go and watch your little Netflix programs, was just... And I said it to Feek since, and he was like, I did not intend that to be nearly as condescending as it came out. And I think it started a little less condescending, but the more we laughed, the more he kind of pushed that way. But even there, some of the other stuff that Feek says, like, you know, it's just so dismissive. It's awful. But it's so funny. Yeah, so to give a bit as well, I mean, as soon as we knew we were doing effectively a short about 2 blind spies, and the idea that one of them was married to an optician. Yes. And the idea that he forgot his contacts that day when he's gone off. He put in the wrong contacts when he's gone off on a fucking secret mission or whatever. It's like, where did you get that gun? I was like, shh. It's just... Do you remember some of the takes that we couldn't use, like when he went to try and give Lisa a kiss in the forehead and like kissed her eyeball? We did use that. I thought there was the first one. The first one, he mauled her eye and she was buckled. It was so funny. So production ran for like 6 hours, I would say. I think it was 6. I can't remember. We had exactly. Nikki on hand for makeup, which was fairly minimal. It was just a bit of stage makeup. Yeah. There's so much stuff that Marie Harrigan was AD. Yes, that's right. She was very, very good AD to have on the day. I just remember so much stuff being cut out of, like, Brian knocking the cups over and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like little things like that. Even Fiak, when he reached for the cup a couple of times. Like,
yeah, he's just. It was great because it was one of those performances where they both like. It was just you can't see very well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what to do with that. Just you know that's what your character is.
Yeah.
So enjoy. Like,
Lisa's reactions were some of my favorites. Just like looking directly at the cup and just watching them fuck around with it and going like, "What are you doing?"
I just eat that whole sequence with the gun and Lisa's reaction and her on the ground. She buckled a few times on that as well. To like, what's it? Mike,
the fuck.
It was so good. Aaron was on hand as AC.
He was AC on the shoot and then he was editing.
Yeah, and did he do a little bit of BTS video?
He did BTS video as well. Yeah. Multi-talented man. That Aaron.
Mike Joyce.
Mike Joyce
did
was
an
on
incredible
sound.
job on sound. He did the score.
He did the score in 48 hours too.
That was incredible. I just remember he went upstairs. We were downstairs editing, and he.
Yeah, once we had like a rough pass, he just like went to work.
I thought it was really funny because I'd never met Mike before that point. And I remember we were going out the front and having ciggies and whatever, and he was just like, "This is the funniest shoot I've ever been on." He's like, I can't stop fucking laughing. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember you came to me at one point where we were setting up like a mid, and I set up the camera, and Mike was like, "Where's my line? You're in there." I was like, "Okay, perfect." And then you were like, I was like, he got as close as he physically could without getting in frame. It was like, can we keep him?
Yeah, this shows you the experience that I had with a lot of sound ups to that point. I'm not going to say that all the sound ups I'd worked, but like I had a rough patch with sound ups.
Yeah.
So seeing someone like Mike, I was like, oh my god, like I need this human in my life.
I was actually chatting to him at the Blue Dawn screen in there recently.
Oh,
and,
nice.
He's in the process of buying a car, so we may see more of Mike Joyce.
Mike also worked. I mean, a lot of people that have worked on I.R.I.S went on to work on subsequent Badger productions. You know, Lisa was in The Sad Ones and on Banshee, and Fiak was in Legacy Point and Mersey Boys. And Mike did Framed, which he also did the score for. And if you get a chance to watch Framed, and the score for that is possibly one of my favorite scores.
It's really good.
Because he really captured, when I said to him about like the Japanese Asian horror, he picked up on it. So like getting to meet a lot of those people for the first time and realizing how well you gel with right out the gate. Trying to think, I don't want to be leaving anybody out. I don't think was that the crew?
I think that's everyone.
Yeah, it was a tight knit crew. Had to be. I mean, if you had a big crew, it wouldn't have worked.
I guess moving on to post. Then we literally got home and then Aaron took the footage and just started cracking on.
He did so well.
Yeah,
until he crashed.
He crashed so hard about 4 a.m.
Like, I remember I was standing behind him with my arms on the chair watching him, and I leaned down and I was like, "You haven't done anything in like 6-7 minutes." Yeah,
I remember he had like a rough pass done.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I think this shot could go here, this shot could go there," and he was like, "Cool." And then I was like, "Can you move that shot down?" And he was like, "Yep." What am I doing?
Yeah, like
and like, to be fair, he was at that computer from like 7 or whenever we got back
to
up until 4 a.m. and he was just like.
But yeah, it was in that moment as well. Like for me, as I say, there was that moment where I said something to him and I was like, "You haven't done anything in like 7-8 minutes." I was like, "You need to," because remember how long he fought it as well.
Yeah.
How long he was like, "No, I'm fine. I've got this." Honestly, and then it got to that point where we were like, "You need to pass it over because it's not good for you. It's not good for anybody else." And he was like, "Okay." So did he pass to me then?
I told him to go for a 20-minute nap.
And then he went to bed.
And then he went. But like, he intended on a 20-minute nap, but he needed to sleep.
He did. I remember, because we just both made a conscious decision, like, no, leave him off.
Yeah. He was pissed we didn't wake him though.
He had cut it to 12 minutes at that point, and I think he was in the process. He had gotten it down to maybe about 10.
Yeah.
By the time he went to sleep, and we were like, shit, we still got to lose like a good 3.5 minutes, which at that point felt like fucking like torture.
We lost a couple of jokes that had to go for time wise.
Yeah.
For time's sake. But Yeah, me and you kind of jumped in then on the edit, and we just kind of like we tidied up sections. We did that thing where we cut the clip but let the audio run underneath so that we could speed up
stuff. I remember that was one thing as well, is that like when Aaron was editing, we were both very like you could do this, like, and we didn't want to like interject in the edit, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were like, you could do this and it would, you know, and so then I think when we got in, we were like, okay. Do you remember that point we got to where I was just like, okay, we're killing our fucking darlings at this point.
Yeah.
We both were just like, look, that's a funny joke, but is it necessary? No, gone.
Yeah.
We can do a director's cut. It's fine.
We were like, for the competition, we had to get it down to 7 minutes.
Was it 7 with credits?
I think it was 7 with credits. And we lost like a couple of our favorite jokes, but we were like, when we release it online, we'll put back in what we want. Yeah. It was like, but for this competition, it was like the bare minimum story is there. It's still pretty funny.
Yeah, it's got enough jokes that it's not just like what was the point of this?
Yeah,
you know. But it was such a hard process when you're that tired to have to go. Yeah, just trim that entire scene.
Yeah,
that entire moment, like, because we tried for so long to shave.
Yeah,
we're
like, there's like 6 frames there, and then there's like 2 frames there.
Yeah, and then it was like, no, this isn't working. We gotta lose like a minute and a half somewhere.
Yeah, it's like it's like we got it down. We were like, we're really happy with where it is, and then we looked at the time. It was like it was still like 8.5 minutes, and we were like, fuck.
Yeah, it was like we gotta lose like a minute and a half somewhere. Full stop.
Yeah, it was like you're talking about losing an entire joke.
Yeah, we did, and so the edit, then it had to be
graded, sound mix, score. And that was all
Sunday.
All Sunday, yeah.
Then you had to drive to Dublin with the USB stick.
Yeah, I hadn't slept, and we got up. We were at location for 8 a.m, so we were up at around 6, half 6.
Half 6, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was up all that night. Me and you took over editing when Aaron went to bed at 4. We continued editing and then added the sound mix and stuff, and we were finished. I had to leave by 5 to make it to Dublin for 7.
Yeah.
So I think we officially called it around 2, because I know Fiach and Aoife, or Fiach and Lisa and Mike had to take off back to Dublin.
Yeah.
I think Lisa had an audition or something.
And then did I bring Clancy and Aaron home?
And Marie.
Or did Aaron bring me, Clancy?
I'm not sure who drove.
I can't remember. Man, I think Aaron was driving because he had to sleep.
Yeah, I think that was a safe move.
Yeah.
But I hadn't slept.
Yeah, I know. I remember messaging you and just being like, dude, I'm so worried for you right now.
I shit you not. Like, that was
one of the scariest.
The drive up was fine because I was still buzzing from like
the hype of
it all. We did this
challenge that I meant myself.
And we got in and I handed it over and I was like, fuck yeah. And then it was like when I hit Dublin and I hit a traffic light, it was like waiting for the traffic light. I was like,
this will go on forever. That was me after the 36-hour don't shoot. Like, I was just like, I can't. Like, I had all my windows down, I had music blaring, I had the cold air blasting out of me. I was just like, wake up, please.
I was fine while I was driving and I was chatting to Vachin and,
at least you had Vachin.
No, I had Mike. Mike was with me as well because we were still working on audio till late. So I think it was Fiach and Lisa left early. And Mike was in the car with me because I remember I dropped Mike home as well.
Yeah.
But but in the car it was fine when we were driving, we were chatting away. Vachin was very much talking to me the whole way to make sure that I was fine. And she was like, "You doing okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then it was like when I hit Dublin and I started hitting traffic lights, once I was like turning my brain off just waiting for the lights, I could just feel this and I just get the I was like, I'm awake. I was like, sorry. And they were like, it's okay, it's fine, just
stay awake.
Yeah, it's like, we'll keep talking to you, we'll keep you fine. It was like, whenever I was moving, I was fine. It was every time.
Whenever you had to stop. Yeah.
And again, when we parked the car, it was fine. Getting out was fine. Walking around was fine. It was like traffic lights, and I was like, boom.
What's it? So I.R.I.S was kind of semi-sponsored by Monster Energy Drink.
Yeah, my batteries, as Vachin referred to them. My Barry batteries.
Something interesting though is that we've talked about all that stuff, and now we're going to be probably moving on to where it can be seen, where it has been shown.
Mm-hmm.
But what we didn't touch on is the inception of the Badger name.
Yes, we've touched on it on other
podcasts and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the quintessential.
It's why I.R.I.S is such a meaningful shorten to me as well. As like it was the moment we went from being a group of people who were making films together to Badgers.
Yeah.
It was the start of that transition.
100%.
And it was just Barry put out a request when he set up that group he talked about, where he invited me, Marie, and Fiach, and Lisa, and everyone, and Aaron into this group, and he said, you know, I'm putting together this team, so does anybody have any suggestions for a team name? Because Barry, being very diplomatic as always, is like open to suggestions. He could have just been like, this is the name, deal with it, but no, he opened it up to us. And I'm glad he did now. I'm sure he wasn't at the time.
I'm glad nobody had any objections.
Yeah. I put up immediately. It was almost as soon as you hit enter.
I had finished typing. I don't know if I'd even hit enter.
Yeah, and I put up Furious Badgers. Because yeah, I've had this obsession with Badgers for years and years and years. And I always wanted to make, when we started my video game company, I wanted to make games about Badgers and everything. So when it was like, there's an opportunity for this, I gotta get Badgers in there. It's gotta happen. And
I remember being none too pleased with Furious Badgers. And the reason that I was none too pleased was more because I didn't know if we were getting a drama.
If we got a drama and it was going to be super heavy and it was going to be about like something tragic and it opened with Furious Badgers presents.
Yeah.
It would be like, what?
Because of the way they do the screenings, like you have to put your team name right up at the very top. But like as like an opening card.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want it to be like about the death of a child presented by Furious Badgers.
And I completely understood that. And that part of me was like, please let us get horror comedy. Please let us get horror comedy. Please let us get horror comedy. Or both.
I always wanted it to be a comedy. I just was like, oh, if we can make a comedy.
Yeah.
It was like, I know we can do that in 48 hours.
Yeah, and I think as well when you had like myself, yourself, Aaron, Brian there, you know, we'd all worked. Fiach had never really done comedy before.
Yeah.
He took to it like a fucking...
Oh, he nailed it.
Lisa had never really done comedy before, had she?
She'd done funny stage plays, but nothing quite to what I.R.I.S was.
And as I say, Mike Joyce was like, this is the funniest fucking shoot I've ever been on to date. It was... We got very lucky that we got...
that goes back to what I said at the start. It was... we were very lucky that we also had the team that were adaptable to do that as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those situations though, and then obviously that spiraled to, you know, when Barry said, what would you name your company if you had one? Yeah,
so we were Furious Badgers because no one objected, no matter how many times I was like, anybody got
so many times.
Any other suggestions? And like, I'll literally take anything else. And nobody wanted it, so we went with Furious Badgers.
I remember just seeing...
Again, being diplomatic as fuck.
Seeing that messenger group and just like waiting for somebody to post something else. And you're just like, anybody? Seriously? Nobody would?
And I'm so glad nobody did now, in hindsight.
Yeah.
But
at the time you were like, okay, fine, fuck, we're Furious Badgers. Great.
Let's pray for a comedy.
Yeah.
But so we went with Furious Badgers, and we were lucky that we got the film that we did. It worked out. But then you were going under Red Hat Productions.
Yeah, well, I wasn't necessarily. I was just Petty Murphy filmmaker or whatever. Like, and then, but you said if you had a company, what would you call it?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Red Hat Productions or Red Hat Studios or whatever. And then you searched it and. Obviously, there's Red Hat Linux, which is distro software, and I think that goes under Red Hat Studios or something. And then Red Hat Productions was a company in Australia.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and you were like, well, that's taken, or if that was taken, like, well, what else would you? And I was like, literally, as soon as I went back into my brain, it was like Badger. So it was like, and I'd just been over and worked on Remnant and the whole Celtic thing was in my head. I don't know. It was a very weird moment. It was just Celtic Badger production or Celtic Badger films.
Yeah.
And then we turned up on Framed. You brought the slate for me
for Christmas. I got Paddy the slate. I believe it's over there. It's like right there. I'll get. It's easier for me to get out.
But yeah, Barry brought me the slate and was like, "I'm really." He was like, "I'm really sorry. I thought you said media, not films, so it says Celtic Badger Media on it." And I was like, "That is so much better. Like, at least media, we could do games, movies,
it kind of
books,
opens a lot of doors.
It's great. I was so happy when it was Celtic Badger Media."
And then I cheekily put my own name on the slate too.
It's all starting to come off now.
Yeah, because people have been taping over it, bitches.
Motherfuckers.
But so it was coming up to Christmas, and I wanted to get Paddy something relatively memorable. So
it's pretty friggin' memorable.
Yeah, so I put the Celtic Badger Media on it. I know Paddy is a font fiend, so I know it's not exactly the right font, but...
Oh, we hadn't really settled on Code Bold at that point.
We hadn't, and we also hadn't even settled on a name. And I was like, I know you said whatever is like you can change it or whatever, and you were like, no, now it's media.
Yeah, that was great. You were like, you can do whatever. I was like, no, media is a million times better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And so that was January 2016, and by June 2016 we were incorporated.
Whoop whoop.
But so that goes back to then. I mean, with I.R.I.S. It obviously screened at the 48-hour film screening, and then
we showed it at a little cinema.
We did, that's true, and it was great actually because to watch a comedy in the little cinema environment was great, seeing how people reacted.
Yeah,
but it was one of those situations where we had always made the decision that we were going to put it online.
Yeah,
from the start we were like, we're not going to try and do a big long festival run, etc. with this.
Yeah. So, I think it was just more like we want to show everyone what we did in 48 hours.
Yeah. And we wanted that director's cut. We were kind of almost like, we want people to see the real film, like now.
Yeah.
But even since then it has, I think it's gone around.
Yeah, it's had a couple of screenings here and there, nothing crazily out there.
It's funny because when we met the guy who would go on to be our producer on the Three Don'ts in Cannes, shout out to Judd Tilliard. When we met Judd, I sent him all the links to the various shorts we've done at that point. He came back and he said, I really like that fucking I.R.I.S. one. That's really funny. He was like, you could totally do a feature like about two blind spies. And I was like, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So it's definitely still a passion project and a dream thing.
I still think it has potential.
I do too. I think with the right setup, you've got an incredible feature there.
Because the characters are already there.
Yeah. I freaking... The deleted, do you want to tell people about the not deleted scene, but we never shot the scene we didn't shoot, the post credits scene?
Yeah, we had a post credits scene in mind that we were going to shoot where there's the joke in the thing where it's like, oh, don't worry, man, I'll see you again soon. It's like, well, if you don't, I'll come back and I'll strangle you with a piano wire.
He's like, no,
put
a bomb in my car.
It's like, no, put a bomb in my car, and then you'll accidentally blow up her, and it'll be my fault.
It went so dark when Mike swore.
Yeah.
And
then we talked about shooting a post-credit scene where Andrea goes out to sit in her car and she goes to turn it on and like a car like 3 or 4 cars down.
Or like doesn't she click the button? I thought it was as she's walking towards it.
Yeah, and a different car blows up. And then,
that's your car.
Oh, that's your car. I was like, thought that was your. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And
he just like stumbles off in the background because the idea of him being blind and not knowing which car. I was thinking about that later, and I was like, wait, why would her car fob blow up another car?
Well, that's why I thought we had said that she was going to sit in, and we were waiting for her to turn the key and explode. But she turns the key and nothing happens, and then a different car just randomly explodes further down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody else got blown up.
Yeah.
Man, it's a comedy, but there are elements of darkness. As I said, that line Fiach says, it was always written in the script, but I didn't expect it to, like, as in...
It was the way he trailed off when he realised exactly what he was saying. It was like, oh wow, that is dark.
It was super dark, man. But yeah, as you say, it's the characters, Mike and... What was it? Peter? No.
No, Peter was
Well,
sad one.
I'm Alex Ashford.
No.
Oh, come on, what was it? Eric. I named him
Eric.
after
Eric,
Eric.
yeah.
I named him after Eric Clancy.
Eric Ashford.
Eric Ashford. I'm Eric Ashford. And Mike.
Mike didn't get a second name, did he?
He'll be Coffee, because in my head they were married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So Coffee was her married name.
Yeah.
Okay. I still have, like, up until recently, I still had
The
the
I.R.I.S card.
in my wallet.
Another ad lib moment that we both exploded at was when Brian went to put it in his pocket and it just fucking missed. And was the first time of that not necessarily intended?
Not intended at all.
And it just like went right down and we all burst. We were like, this is fucking...
I
That's
think
like
Brian apologized because he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, sorry, I meant to put that in." It was like that was way funnier.
it was so much better that it missed. It was like an Inspector Clouseau moment. It was fucking incredible. Yeah, so I mean, as I say, I.R.I.S has this very, very, very special place for a short that was made in 2 days.
Yeah.
It really cemented a lot of the ethos that we've carried ever since then.
I want to make cool shit with cool people.
Yeah, and just even as I say, we restarted that symbiosis that like.
The mean you have.
Yeah, and even like it's why a lot of people, you know, I see a lot of other directors who get very hung up on things like, you know, I want to do blocking, you know, set marks and blah blah blah. Like I know you have all of that when we're just like working on something generally.
But I mean, like we've always had that thing where if I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they came in this way or whatever, and
unless
you were like,
there's a narrative reason.
yeah, and then you're like, but I always saw it come in the other way, and I was like, but this way would work visually a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, we've never always been 100% on the same page, but we could always explain to each other why you wanted a certain way.
9 times out of 10, the only time I would ever be like, oh, the only reason I want this person to do this is because for their character or for a narrative reason.
Yeah.
And if I can't explain it, this goes back to a lot of times I've said about working with Judd, with getting feedback. You know, if I can explain and rationalise my thoughts on it, it's probably somewhat valid. If I can't, then I just want it for no reason.
Just because.
Just because, like, no, I want this.
It's mine.
But yeah, so I.R.I.S was in a lot of ways the formation of Celtic Badger Media.
Yay.
So if you haven't seen it by now, why did you watch this? We just spoiled like the whole.
We literally told you at the start of the thing to
Yeah.
pause it, open a new tab.
And if you have seen it already, maybe we'll refresh it. It's a good watch.
Or watch the behind the scenes and the bloopers,
And the
if you
bloopers.
haven't
Oh,
yet,
the bloopers.
because I
I'm
fucking
gonna go
love
watch
that.
the bloopers.
Yeah, I think
Like,
we
right
might
now.
go watch it now.
Yeah. So look, this has been a bit of a retrospective on I.R.I.S, which was one of the first shorts we worked on together, because the Three Don'ts became something.
It became something quite
different than a
quite
short.
colossal.
Yeah, so I think we can safely say I.R.I.S was the first short we worked on together. But yeah, so like we've done a lot more. We did the Cheese Box, we did Retribution. This is just stuff we've worked on together. Outside of that, there's been a lot of other projects as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you enjoyed this, if you liked hearing kind of a deep, almost like a commentary, but like if we did an 8-minute commentary, we wouldn't be able to get a lot.
I guess it's a deep dive.
deep dive. Yeah, I like that.
There we go. There was the name we couldn't find earlier.
Okay, so this is Badger Banter Deep Dive.
I'm not editing in that at the start. I'm going to leave it right where it is.
That's fine.
So yeah, if you like this deep dive and you're interested in hearing more about other shorts that we've done, let us know which ones you want to hear about.
Because we love talking about them.
Yeah,
we do.
And like, there's so much stuff like that. The behind the scenes on YouTube, we kept to kind of the 5-minute mark
For shareability and not taking up too much time and everything.
So
But
there's a lot of stuff that happened on set and stuff like that we like talking about that maybe we didn't fit into the behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we do. It's little snippets make it into podcasts and stuff, but we enjoy. 9 times out of 10, we can't go off on a tangent about that stuff there and then.
Yeah.
So we enjoy getting a chance to really explore the processes behind making some of these shorts.
Yeah, it's fun.
So definitely, if this has been something you've enjoyed, let us know, because we would gladly sit here and do this.
Yeah,
again. So
for sure.
So head over, check out I.R.I.S if you haven't seen it, you idiot. If you have seen it, which you should have to have watched this whole video, head on over and watch the BTS and bloopers.
I guess what Paddy's trying to say is thank you. I know he has a strange way of doing it, but he means thank you.
It's what happens when you grow up between Limerick and Clare. You don't know how to communicate with other humans properly. Genuinely thank you. First of all, especially to our amazing patrons.
Yes.
Who, you know, a lot of this content is made almost specifically for you. And to people who are watching on other channels, thank you as well for sticking through this.
Much appreciated.
And supporting us.
I'm going to do that typical YouTuber thing. Like, subscribe, hang out, come say hi. Digital high five. And thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Baz clap for saying.
Baz clap.
That sounds something like you shouldn't have.
This I fell apart again.
Really?
We fucking can't sit this fucking thing, man. We need new couch. Back us on Patreon.
Oh, I think I just made it way worse.
Oh no.